because he's a brat. All right, take two.
Darn cats.
The cats allow it. So this room, unlike the other room, this is the kitchen. This is where the cats eat, and this is where the litter boxes tend to be in the corner. So cats tend to go by, and now it's increased because I'm filming in here, so the cats want to be in here, and they'll block each other out from eating, and they'll argue over whose turn it is to eat and all that.
Shadow likes to sit in the middle so nobody can go by.
But
I'm just gonna sit here.
Pixel tends to block him out too.
Mind my own business.
And then Bear, when they get wet food, Bear will actually eat the can while Shadow's sitting in between Bear and Pixel, so that Pixel can't come through and have any. So, all right, we are here now.
Children.
We are here now to talk about the Billie Eilish concert we watched, which was an online concert. So, in the midst of the pandemic shutdown, of course, bands aren't touring. So, Billie had her concert, and then less than a week later, Maynard James Keenan's band, Puscifer, had theirs. Couldn't be much more opposite in reality between the two, and so we're gonna kind of review and compare the two of them between two artists that really couldn't be more opposite. I mean, they're well,
no,
not well. I mean, I guess
there
both bands have their experimental sounds.
Yeah.
Billie has some experimental sounds with her brother, and Maynard has
a bluesy feel to it.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, so
yeah, there's
not as different as it could be.
The one thing with Puscifer is it feels like that's the music where if something's really weird, and it's not like Tool weird, that's where it ends up. So of the three bands, I think Perfect Circle is probably the most radio friendly.
Yeah.
And then Tool's where the experimental kind of metal sound goes, although I don't consider Tool to really be metal.
No.
And Puscifer's where just the weird,
really depends on the song,
the weird noise music goes, where there's really just bizarre stuff happening. This album's not so much like that though.
Right.
So the Puscifer concert was a playlist of the entire new album from start to finish. I even did a double check towards the end.
Any of the
There was no greatest hits, no anything. It was just here's the new album, which is going to be released apparently in December. Okay. So we got the new Seven Dust album, but the new,
which is good,
Puscifer is mid-December. You listened to the new Seven Dust?
Yeah, I've listened to it like twice.
Okay. So Puscifer, and again, this is something with Maynard. He is getting older. It is definitely making it so their music's more thoughtful. Calm. It's not angry like it used to be. We don't get like the preacher song there that I like from Sour Grapes, the one that I like from their first album, Trekka, which is fantastic. Trekka's about smoking weed, which was not legal at the time, and now it is. So it was a song that saw the future. And there's a lot of great stuff though on this album as well. I think.
Yeah, it's good.
A lot of.
There were a few songs that I really like. Right off the.
There's some political messaging to some of this.
There always is.
But that's Maynard. Maynard always has had that, going back to Enema, which was a condemnation of California and the lifestyle in California.
Before that, going back to Opiate, but.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say too, like Sober is a very aware song. There's a lot of depth to that song. Prison Sex, despite the title, it has a lot of layers to that one as well. And again, with Maynard's music, I always find it's important to know the lyrics, to know what's going on. And
you still won't know what's going on. So
not with Tool, but with Puscifer you will. Yes. With Puscifer, it's very straightforward. With Tool, they intentionally leave a lot of things vague, so you can kind of make up your mind as to what he's singing about.
Yes.
And that's the difference between watching Puscifer and watching Billie. Billie's very clear about what she's singing about. Although I don't find that Billie's music is boy crazy.
No.
In the way that a lot of the teen pop stars will be. And I do find that it's interesting. I've seen her classified as rock alternative. I don't know that I'd put her in rock alternative. I don't know that I would put it as pop either.
She's definitely not pop, but I can understand why it'd be in rock alternative. because it's not pop.
One thing with
It's kind of bluesy.
yeah, Billie has
Again, it
definitely
depends on the
got
song.
blues influence in her vocals. There's some jazz in there as well.
Shadows paint us fast.
There's definitely some jazz
Mhm.
in her influences.
Yep.
They played all the hit songs in the Billie Eilish concert. It was fast. I thought she went through it pretty darn quick.
Mhm.
She did a good job too of not swearing a whole lot. For anybody who follows Billie on social media at all, she has a mouth on her like a trucker. She is very outspoken. She is very she curses a lot, and she always has, which isn't necessarily a sign of a bad person. I've certainly worked with people who swear like truckers, and they could be great people. Although the judgment online that you get for that sometimes is ridiculous.
Yes. Agreed.
But her concert, what I liked with Billie's was each song had a completely different setup.
Yeah.
There were visuals that were really kind of cool until Bad Guy, which, what's with the car?
I don't know. So her setup was she was on like a sound stage.
And it was a
and the
big
whole
LED screen.
Yeah, the whole
The
stage
floor, walls, LED.
was a screen, and so it would have her, and it had a drummer and a keyboard,
And that's all she has.
and that's all that but that's all that was
It's
on
her,
the set.
her, Phineas, and the drummer.
There was nothing else on the set, and then for each song, what was on the screen and the lighting would change completely. So whether it would look like she was underwater or it would look like there was a huge spider, that would change depending on the song.
The spider was cool.
So each song made it appear like it was a different set, though there wasn't stop, change things. There wasn't the costume change or the breaks like there is
she
on
never
a
she never did a costume
concert
change.
right.
Yeah, she never did a costume change.
So it was different than an in-person concert in that it was just it's starting and you go, and the only thing that changed is the lighting.
See, and the changes between the different lighting, the different setup, it's something that I've always loved about Rammstein concerts. You go to a Rammstein concert, every song is a different experience. Every song they change the lighting, the background will change as well. They do the costume changes as well. Each song is its own completely different performance. You don't have it where it's just a static. And I'm not a huge fan of concerts where it's necessarily just a static band playing. There's no changes. Now, Pack AD would be an example of an exception to that. Dead's would be an exception to that as well, where their music is just so fun that you can just kind of have it all mixed together. It all works really, really well that way.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate when a band has it where it's that split up. And in Billie's case, as an artist, she does have it all split up. You could tell that it was geared towards the youngins in the crowd, whereas the Puscifer concert was geared towards people our age. The entire experience, I thought, was very. I mean, it was. Both of them were fun. Which one did you prefer?
Puscifer.
See.
No question.
And for me,
I really liked the Puscifer concert.
I almost leaned towards Billie because I thought there were parts in the Puscifer concert that kind of felt dragged out a little bit.
No, I really liked it.
And then the other thing that sometimes took me out of the Puscifer concert was that Billie was live, 100% live, and I don't think Puscifer was. I think Puscifer was pre-filmed in places.
Well, I don't think so. I think most of it was live, but there were the little clips that they, of course, did beforehand. There were parts that I don't quite understand how they did it.
Well, Maynard's good for that.
I think they did do it like they would a concert. They just made an outside setup, and they had a lot of cameras, which was really cool.
Yeah, they did.
But there were parts that they backed up, and you could see how they were doing all the different cameras. They had cameras on cranes that they were using some kind of remote to move them around and stuff, which was really cool. And you could see as they were doing it, the sun went down, but they were in like a covered area at first, which is the part I'm confused by. They were in one of those the covered areas that they usually use to cover like hay.
Oh, okay.
And they were on the scaffolding. They had the scaffolding set up and the lights and stuff. and then at the end they had taken the cover off, and so you could actually see
The desert.
where they were, which was really cool. But even when they were under the covering, you could tell they were outside because you could see there were some plant life in the set that they were in, which was kind of cool. But they did really good with their camera work, and the angles and stuff they were getting was pretty cool.
I thought the part that I was entertained by too was that Karina and Maynard were both dancing the same.
Yeah.
And so while he's going, as she refers to it, full Maynard,
he doesn't as much
she
as when he was younger, like in Tool. I've been to
probably can't move like he used to.
quite a few Maynard concerts.
Right.
So I've been to Perfect Circle twice and then Tool 4 times. So I've seen Maynard in person through the years quite a few times. And when he was younger in Tool, he would do full Maynard. It would take a couple songs and then he'd get in. Now what he does is not quite the same amount of
It's just some goofy
Maynard,
dancing
but
that takes place.
yeah, he dances fun, and he still does.
Yep.
Not quite the extent of
I
when
thought
he
she
was
did a
younger
good
in
job
Tool.
of holding her own.
Yes, that was fun.
She did a good job holding her own and doing her own goofy
Them
little
playing
dance.
off of each other.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it's kind of like they're in characters through the
Yeah.
whole thing, and it's really well done. Definitely some songs in there about the end of the world, and some songs about existential crises and stuff, which makes sense considering the title of the album and all that. But both the concerts I thought were fun. Hopefully we can get either of or both on DVD.
I'm really
Adelaide would love
hoping-
to have the Billie one
I'm
on
sure.
DVD.
I would really like to be able to see the Puscifer one again.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
I would imagine that
Just
one will get
having that one on.
released
That was
eventually.
great. I would really like to be able to.
Probably right after the album comes out, then they'll release that. So
That'd be great. They should do that. I would appreciate it a lot.
there you go. Between the two, both of them were good. She'd favor Maynard and
Because
Puscifer.
Maynard, so
I'm kind of leaning
I'm
towards Billie, but
also-
only just barely.
I'm also not a huge Billie fan. Like some of the songs are fun, but in general, that's not what
I'm
I would
definitely a
choose to
bigger
listen
fan.
to.
I'm
By a
definitely a bigger
lot.
fan.
Yeah, by a lot.
Billie. Yeah.
But yeah, so that would skew my preference for concerts a bit.
And it's a chance for me to see a concert. I'm never going to see one in person because I'd be surrounded by teenagers.
That would feel
It'd
really
be
weird.
aggravating. So at least at a
We're-
Puscifer concert, we're right in the midst of our age group. But a Billie
That's
concert,
great,
people are like,
yeah.
which kid are you here with? Hopefully Adelaide would be with us, because otherwise, yeah, then it's like,
she would like that, yeah.
and then all the screaming kids, it
No,
would drive me nuts.
Pass.
It would get
Pass.
aggravating.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, yeah. So, if those come out on DVD, if they interest you at all, recommend if they're for demand
I'm
again.
really hoping, so having watched two of these virtual concerts, I'm hoping more bands do this. Because there are a lot of bands
Well,
that
we're going to
we
see
like.
Pack AD towards the end of the month.
That'll be really fun. But there's a lot of bands that I would love to see virtual concerts. That would be great. A lot of the bands that we listen to. That'd be very fun.
Yep. So there you go. Billie Eilish versus Puscifer. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.